Hello, hello. So happy Friday. Happy full moon in Taurus. And this is a really cool full moon because this is a full moon eclipse. So every month when we have these full moon flows, I always talk about how the full moon is such a great time to let go and release and um, make room for new. Amplifies all of that. So that's the idea behind that energy is that there's um, an amplification of it. So there's massive endings, big shifts, big turning points. Maybe for you it's work, or maybe there's something romantically, or maybe there's some other kind of shift happening, a move. When there's a lunar eclipse, there's bigger shifts. So it's a much stronger release. So it's a really good time, like all full moons, it's a really good time to practice yoga. So the practice for tonight that I thought would feel really nice was really kind of getting into some hip openers and then also some twists. And I think sometimes I use this analogy sometimes, so you'll hear me say it, but I feel almost as though when you're twisting in some of these postures of yoga, you're almost like wringing yourself out, like you're sort of wringing out like you would wring out a sponge. So I felt like getting into some of those twists would be helpful too for us for tonight. I did share a new playlist if you follow along on Spotify with this posted KatMula yoga one. I would have shared it sooner. I couldn't share it till today because I had to incorporate Adele 30 and that whole new album because she is so inspirational, and she is such a muse for me for when I'm practicing yoga, that I knew I wanted some of those songs on this playlist, and it was just released today. So if you are following along and using that playlist tonight, there are, I think, 3 songs off that album because it's amazing. So, whatever playlist you're using, and I do encourage you to follow along with some kind of background music. I liken the yoga practice to almost being like a dance, in the sense that you really can sort of allow yourself to zen out, shall we say, and kind of just feel the music, close your eyes, kind of get into your body and out of your head. And I feel like having a good playlist in the background can be helpful. So whatever it is relaxing for you, the playlists that I make, that I share, go along with the practices that I share. So this one will be a nice one for the background for tonight. So whatever playlist you're using, we're going to start now. So you can set yourself up there. And then we're starting lying down. I've been favoring starting this way frequently, but especially tonight because of the full moon. There's 2 things to, well, there's only really 2 ways to go about it anyway, but there's 2 ways to really get at this energy with your yoga practice, and it's by grounding, but then also releasing and allowing yourself to be open to whatever the new energy and new opportunity is that's coming your way. So we'll start lying down in a reclined butterfly. So you're going to come all the way down onto your back with the soles of your feet. And then using, so if you have blankets or pillows or bolsters, you can do help. But I think for restorative purposes, it feels really nice to have some kind of support under the knees. And your feet can be as far away from your pelvis as feels good. You don't have to have your feet. You can have this be a nice, relaxed, almost imagine a diamond shape. And this is our time just to really tune in. So it's really important, and sometimes for some, really frustrating, but it's really important to spend some time at the beginning of the practice to really just allow yourself to settle in and let go of the day, the week, the stuff. And start to just notice your breath. Notice how you're showing up. Just start to tune in and see, where are you holding on to tension? Is it in your shoulders? Do you feel it in your hips and your back? Are you clenching your jaw even right now? So see if you can start to just tune into all those places that we don't pay attention to when we're busy. And when we're busy, we just carry it around, right? We just hold on to all that tension, all that stress, and we just keep going. So this is your time, with all that amplified energy we're getting from this lunar eclipse. This is your time to really let go of the stuff. So anything that you've been holding on to, some kind of grudge or some kind of anger or bitterness, see if you can just let that go. Anything. It can be the smallest thing. And just see if you notice any sense of relief from just letting go of any little bit of frustration that has built up from the day. And we will move. But for now, see if you can just tune into your breath. So start to notice as you inhale, where does it go? And really follow it. Sometimes it's helpful to put your hands over your abdomen, or maybe put one hand over your heart, one hand over your abdomen. Take a really big, deep inhale and just feel your diaphragm expand. And sometimes even just that physical sensation of feeling your breath as you breathe in and out can help to calm your nervous system. And see if you can slow it down. So really try to slow the exhale. So as you breathe in, see if you can hold it at the top. Take in just a little bit more. And then exhale really slowly. Maybe try to a count of 6 or 8. And see if you can start to notice that your body feels heavier and you're allowing the floor to support you now. Letting go of some of that tension that you showed up with. And now is a great time to set an intention. And it can be an intention for this practice. It can be an intention for a season ahead. It can be a broad intention, a small intention, but set an intention for yourself. And maybe for you, it's just to see if you can allow yourself this time to just let go for a little while. And let that be enough. Or maybe you want to think a little broader. The full moon in Taurus, this moon in particular, is supposedly can be linked to good fortune with manifesting financial situations. So take that as you will. I think we can manifest anything we really want to. So you can let your intention be as broad as that, or or as as little as just, can you allow yourself the next bit of time to just settle and check out of the thinking mind and check into your body and see if you can loosen things up a little bit. So allow the left ear to just drop over toward the mat. So you're just going to get a little stretch in the right. We're going to start off with just slow little movements, but really tune into it. So if you allow your head to get heavy, if you allow that ear to really fall toward the mat, you will get a nice stretch on the right side, being mindful of keeping that right shoulder blade down against the yoga mat. So don't let that right shoulder creep up, and then you'll get that nice expansion in the right side of your neck. And on your next inhale, come back to center. And then you're going to let the head fall over to the right. And you'll get a little expansion on that left side. Inhale, come back up to center. And we're going to go into a bridge pose from here. So you're going to let the feet come flat onto the yoga mat. Bring the knees up and together. And then you can push the props out of the way. You're going to plant your hands. Your arms are flat down on the yoga mat. And then using of your abdominal muscles, so not pushing down on your arms as much as pulling up, using that strength in your abdomen. You're going to lift and breathe here. And stick with those really deep inhales that you follow all the way down into your diaphragm. Exhale slow. You may, if you're not used to being in a position like this, you may get a little shake, a little burn in the thighs. That's okay. Hang in there, keep breathing. Try not to let yourself dip down, but really staying up, using those muscles. So one more really big inhale. Really long exhale, and as you exhale, come all the way down, back onto your back. You can draw this in, and we're going to just rock and roll up into an easy seat. I'm just going to move my pillows and things out of the way for the moment. So if you are following along on the new playlist, we have Adele on right now. So you can sit in an easy seat, and finding your easy seat, really sort of do a little check-in. So shimmy a little so that you feel like your sits bones are flat on the yoga mat. Spine is long, neck is straight. Imagine almost as if there's a marionette string reaching up toward the ceiling, pulling your neck up. So you get that nice length extension. And then roll the shoulders down and back. And we're going to start with just some easy neck stretches. So again, you're going to let that right ear fall down, but over toward the right shoulder. So you're getting that expansion on that left side again. And again, being mindful to keep the shoulders down and back. And again, tuning into the breath, following it. Where is it going? And as you exhale, can you let that right ear get a little heavier toward the right shoulder, but without letting that left shoulder come up? One more big breath. And then on your next exhale, let the chin come down toward the chest. So you're getting in the back of the neck. And then you can take the hands, interlace the hands behind your head, and then just use that as a little bit of reinforcement, not pressure, but reinforcement to guide your chin down toward your chest so you can just get a little bit deeper of a stretch in the back of your neck. And then use your breath as a tool here again. As you exhale, can you get a little deeper? Inhale back up to center, and then we're going to let the left ear fall down toward the left shoulder. So same thing on the other side now. And again, being mindful as you're exhaling, can you let that left ear come down a little further, but without letting that right shoulder creep up? Keep the shoulders down and back. Roll the chin back down toward the center of your chest. And then bring your chin all the way up. And we're going to add in some stretches in the backs of your arms here. So you're going to reach that left arm all the way up and over. So you're reaching behind the back of your right shoulder if you can get there, or wherever you can get. And then just breathe into that space here on the left side. And it can feel, even though it doesn't look like much, it can feel a little bit intense because these are places that we're not really getting at very often. These are muscles that you're not really stretching all the time. So it can feel a lot more intense than it looks. And then we're going to switch sides. So you can let that arm come down, reach that right arm up, reach for that back of that left shoulder blade. And again, breathing into that space. To stiffen, just kind of there. So allowing with your exhale, allowing get a little deeper in under your arm, that area around the blade, those muscles that we don't really get to very often. And then come back to center. We're going to do one more little side stretch here. So you're going to drop this left hand down parallel to your right thigh. Or sorry, your right hand parallel. And your left hand is reaching all the way up toward the ceiling. It's very typical. Right, so let's do a little check-in with your shoulder blades here. So make sure that you're not rolling forward, but that you're keeping your posture and your alignment in check. And then try not to dump the weight into the right hand, but really you're just using it more as a kickstand, and you're not letting that left knee come up. And then you can try to reach all the way over toward that right side, toward that opposite wall. Again, without letting that left knee creep up. And then you can take a twist up your arm if it feels okay. Again, it's a lot of things to think about, but being mindful not to dump weight into the right side. Keeping your spine in alignment. You're using core here, strength, balance, lots of things. Maybe smile. I like to rotate my wrist here and wiggle my fingers too, just to get into those other places that we don't pay attention to. One more big breath. And then as you exhale, come all the way back up. We're going to switch sides. Left hand comes down to the floor. Right hand reaches all the way up toward the ceiling. And again, start with just finding your alignment, finding your balance and your posture, and tuning into your core here. Not dumping weight into the left side, reaching all the way up toward the ceiling first. And then you can reach toward the opposite wall over to the left. And then you can add in a little bit of a twist if it feels okay and look up toward that arm. Maybe rotate the wrist, wiggle the fingers. One more big inhale here. Big exhale. Come all the way back up to center. So we'll take one more little easy twist here, and then we're going to transition onto hands and knees. So our last little twist here is, again, back to my analogy of bringing yourself out like a sponge, but you're going to bring that left hand over to the right knee, bring that right arm behind you, and then see as you exhale, can you twist and look away over your right shoulder. Breathe. This is a good time to start really thinking about releasing your stuff. Just imagine you're just wringing it all out right now. And it can be easy to go back to the quick in and out breath when you're in this kind of posture. So really check in with your breath. Slow it down. As you exhale, can you twist a little deeper? And then on your next inhale, come back around. And we're switching sides, so you're bringing that left hand. I can't help it. You're bringing your right hand to your left knee, and your left hand goes behind you. Welcome to live yoga, when you don't record it, and you just have to live with your errors. So breathe into that space again. Right hand to the left knee, left hand goes behind you, and you're going to look away over that left shoulder. And as you exhale, can you just let yourself twist a little deeper? And again, being mindful of your posture. So make sure you're still in alignment, that you haven't sort of hunched forward. It's all related. Every time you exhale, can you get a little more space? And then on your next inhale, we'll come back to center and transition onto hands and knees. So tabletop position. And take the time to just do a little check-in here. I do this all the time when I teach, but it is super important to make sure that you have your position, that you have a good balance when you're transitioning in and out of these poses. So in your tabletop position, you want to have a nice wide base for balance. So you want to spread your fingers, wrists under shoulders, knees under hips, and then you're imagining almost like you are a table. So like your back is one long straight line, and you could almost balance something on there. Neck is long. And then once you feel like everything is where it should be, on your next inhale, drop the belly. Chin comes up, tailbone comes up for cow pose. And then exhale, round it out. So tucking the chin, rounding the spine, imagining like you're an angry cat. And then I would encourage you to just close your eyes And really just feel this out. So as you're inhaling, dropping the belly, chin comes up, tailbone comes up. Keep it with the nice, deep, long, slow inhales and exhales, and really exaggerate these postures as you get into them. So exhale. Round out, tuck the chin. Inhale, drop the belly, chin comes up, tailbone comes up. And then if you feel like adding on here, we'll add in some hip circles. So as you inhale, dip that right hip down toward your heel. Come around, exhale to the front. And again, close your eyes. See if you can just really feel that. You'll hear little cracks and pops and things kind of resetting themselves. And then switch directions. So inhale, bring it forward. Exhale, bring it down back toward your heels in the opposite direction. And then come back to center. So here we're going to transition into our first downward facing dog. So you're going to tuck the toes and then push down into the palms, lift your hips. You're probably feeling, if this is your first down dog of the day, it is mine, you're probably feeling pretty stiff right now. So give yourself a moment here in down dog to just pedal it out. So bend one knee, stretch the opposite leg. And really sync it up with your breath. Use your breath as a tool here. And then come back to your down dog. Find stillness. Take another big deep inhale here. Another big exhale. Maybe open your mouth and just really let it go. One more big inhale. And then we'll walk toward the front of the mat, so toward your hands, and mindfully, so really kind of stretching the back of your legs as you're walking toward your hands. And we're coming into a forward fold, and I want you to make it restorative. So don't try to have your legs hyperextended, but have a little bit of a bend in the knees and really just let yourself hang forward. Hands can go wherever it feels comfortable, so you can have ragdoll arms here. Maybe you put your hands behind your backs of your shins. Some people, if you have a lot of flexibility, like to stick their hands under their feet and give yourself a little massage. And you may be like up here and nowhere near that, and that's fine too. You're still going to get the same benefit. It's just, it depends on where you're at. So we're hanging out here and taking a few breaths, because this is a really great way to just let go. Okay, one more big breath. One more big exhale, let go of whatever you haven't already. And then inhale, we're going to sweep the arms, come all the way up, reaching up. Maybe imagine you're holding that full moon. Bring the palms together. We're going to take that arm movement one more time. So again, you want to root down here, spine is long, reaching the arms all the way up toward the sky. It's the right now in here, but I'm imagining it's the moon, and bringing the palms to center. And then one more time. And this time when we come down, we're going to come all the way back down into our forward fold. So reaching the arms all the way up. And then you can take almost like a little swan dive down, back into your forward fold. Inhale, take a halfway lift. So you're coming up halfway, almost like you can imagine your spine is straight again on your back. And then exhale, let it all go. And then we're going to come back into our downward facing dog. Take a big breath here. Setting up for pigeon. So when you're ready, we're going to kick that right leg all the way up behind you and start by trying to open the hip here if you can. So kick that right leg toward the opposite wall. Take a big breath here. Exhale. Another breath. And then this time on the exhale, bring the knee between the palms to the best of your ability. Squeeze that left leg all the way back behind as far as it'll go. And then just settle in here first. So again, I'm all about finding your alignment. So we'll check in, bring the shoulders down and back, lift your chin. See if as you exhale, can you settle in a little bit more. And then when you're ready, if it feels good to you, you can bring it down. This is another place where it can be super helpful to use a prop. So if you have pillows or bolsters or something nearby that you want to use, you can put that right in front of you and then settle in here. I do use pigeon in a lot of my practices, but particularly in restorative, I like to spend some time here. I think it takes a few breath cycles to really allow yourself to posture. So once you feel like you get to a place where you can really settle in, go back to your breath, follow it. And maybe notice the difference as you inhale, how it feels compared to when you're lying on your back or in a standing posture. In this posture, do you feel the back of your rib cage expand more? And see again if you can just slow it back down. Come back to your intention. Come back to that idea of letting go. Right now we're letting go of whatever tension we're holding on to in our hip area, which tends to be a lot of emotional. So as you're breathing in and out, can you really imagine that you can just let go of some of that stuff that maybe you've been carrying around? Come up slow. Sometimes if you're down in a position for a while, it can feel a little disorienting when you come back up. So give yourself a moment. And then again, finding your alignment here in your upright version, you can add on to this if you feel zesty in our lunar eclipse. And kick that left leg up and see if you can reach behind going to grab onto your ankle. And if you can't and you're nowhere near that, that's okay too. And maybe you reach that right arm all the way out. And if you went here with me, we'll let that leg come down. And to come out of this posture, you're going to push down into the palms, tuck the toes on the left side, kick that right leg all the way back up behind you, and then see if you can open that hip again. It should feel pretty good. And then coming back to your downward facing dog. We're just setting up to switch sides here. So same thing now on the left. So take a breath here. And then on your next inhale, kick that left leg all the way up. And again, we're opening that hip, so you're going to kick it toward the opposite wall as best you can. Really see if you can feel that opening in the hip. And then on your exhale, you're bringing that left knee down between the palms. Scooching the right leg all the way back as far as you can. And again, giving yourself that time to just really check in with your alignment, your posture, get yourself set up here for getting the most out of this posture. So bringing the shoulders down and back, lift the chin. As you exhale, see if you can settle in a little further. And then when you're ready, bring it down. And it's totally normal to notice that it feels very different on one side versus the other. Tension unevenly. So it's really normal to feel easier to get into these postures than the other. Wherever you're at right now, as you're exhaling, let yourself get a little. And just notice is there any tension that you're still? Did you, as you got into this posture, maybe start to clench somewhere else? So do a little check-in, make sure that there's nowhere else that you can let go. Go back to those really long inhales and exhales. And again, go back to that intention of just really trying to release whatever you can. On the next inhale, we'll come up and again come up. And again, if you're feeling zesty, when you find your alignment here in the upright version of your pigeon, you can kick that right leg up, reach behind, see if you can grab onto your ankle. Again, if you're nowhere near this, that's okay too. And maybe you lift the left arm out. And it could be that you can do this on one side and not the other. And again, that's why we practice. Nothing happens overnight. And if you went here with me, we're going to let that foot drop down, palms come down to frame that knee. to come out, you're going to push down into the palms, tuck the toes on the right side, and again, that left leg. Just have to adjust my posture there, all the way up behind you. Open that hip again, and then come back to your downward facing dog. And we're going to come right from our downward facing dog into a child's pose. So you're going to drop the knees out to the sides, bring the big toes together, and then sink all the way back. So here in our child's pose, and really make it a restorative version, so get comfortable. Here, we can really tune into the grounding aspect of our practice. It can be extremely calming to have the forehead against the yoga mat. It can also feel really nice to make a pillow with your forearms and rest your forehead there. Whatever feels good to you, find a place where you can really let the sink. Let yourself get really heavy here. Yoga poses don't have to be crazy and strenuous to be really, really, really productive. It's all what you make of your practice. And again, we're slowing down the breath. So long, deep inhales. Really slow exhale. When you're ready, we'll meet in tabletop just to transition to our next pose, where we're going to add in just another little twist that I think would feel really nice, especially on this full moon. So when you're ready, we'll transition to tabletop. And then you're going to bring the right foot forward in between the palms. So you're in a low lunge here. Sweep the arms up. And then you're going to open and twist toward the right. So it'll feel a little weird at first. But again, it's that same idea, that same kind of twist of wringing yourself out that we did seated. We're just doing it from a different place. And it involves some strength, some balance, some core. You're really squeezing the thighs together, using your core to hold yourself up. Breathe. And then sweep the arms up. Can you bring it over to the other side? Again, this is where yoga can be like a dance. And breathe. Inhale, sweep the arms back up. Frame the foot. Bring it back, and we're switching sides. So bringing that left foot forward between the palms. Find your balance. Sweep the arms up. And this time, you're twisting to the left. And then breathe. So the tendency is to, when we get to these positions, is to hold your breath. So see if you can use your breath as a tool as you exhale. Can you twist a little deeper? And then sweep the arms up. Bring it over to the other side. A little bit of a balance challenge there. And breathe. Sweep the arms up, frame the foot. Bring it back, and we're coming all the way down onto our backs. So, feet are flat on the floor, knees are pointed toward the ceiling. Do a little check-in here with your alignment. Make sure everything feels like it's nice and flat on your yoga mat. Take a breath in, exhale, let it all go. And we're going to take it into a happy baby. So as you're ready, you can draw the knees toward the shoulders, kick the feet up toward the ceiling, and then hands go wherever it feels good to you. So maybe it's behind the shins, maybe you grab the sides of the ankles, maybe it's yoga block, so piece on your big toes. Figure out what feels good to you. I actually like to, when I'm in happy, I like to sort of just massage the bottoms of my feet a little bit because, I mean, how often are you in a position where you can do that? So it's another little trick is you can take advantage of yoga and give yourself a little foot massage. And again, you'll notice we're hanging out here a little longer. So I feel like happy baby is one of those postures that we can get a little more time. Here. Can you get a little deeper? Maybe rock side to side on your tailbone. It can also feel really nice here to take some extensions in the legs. So you can start with the left, keeping that happy baby on the right side. Extend the left leg out. See how that feels. Keeping the and then you can switch sides. So you can bring that left knee back down into your happy baby on the left and extend the right leg. And again, use your breath as a tool. And come back to your happy baby. Knees together. Let the feet come back down to the floor. We're going to come up onto our bottoms. And we're going to take a seated figure four here. So a little different than how I usually go into figure four, but I think it can feel really nice and it can be a really nice addition in a restorative practice. So as you're ready, extend the legs all the way out in front of you and maybe just find your alignment first. So do your little scooch so that you feel like you're nice and flat on the yoga mat. Roll the shoulders down, reach the head up toward the ceiling. And then going to take the right ankle and cross it over the left thigh. And then you're going to lift that knee to stretch. So for some, that's going to be right here, and you aren't going to go any further, and this is going to be good for you. For others, if you need a little bit more out of it, if you need to take a deeper stretch, then you can just scooch closer to that left ankle. You will know when you find your sweet spot. So you're going to feel that nice deep stretch. And breathe into that space. One more really big deep inhale. And again, as you're exhaling, can you get any more space? Can you get any deeper here? And then we'll uncross and we'll just swing the knees from side to side, just loosening up in the hip joints a little bit. And then extend the legs, set yourself up to the same on the other side. So again, finding the alignment first. Roll the shoulders down and back. Neck is long, spine is straight. We're crossing the left ankle over the right thigh this time. And then lifting that right leg. And scooch toward your ankle to feel deep stretch. And again, you'll know where your spot. Uncross. And again, legs, knees from side to side. And we're going to set ourselves up to end the practice exactly the way that we started. So in a reclined butterfly posture. But you'll probably notice a difference in how your hips feel this time versus when you first tried to lie down in this posture at the beginning of our practice. So set yourself up here. This will be our final pose for Shavasana. Bringing the soles of the feet together. And actually, take a moment here. Give yourself a little foot massage. Even if you already did it when we were in Happy Baby. Just humor me. We don't spend enough time on self-care. We don't pay enough attention to our feet that we use all day, every day. Another thing that can feel really nice is if you bend the toes in the opposite direction of how you walk all day long. All right. When you're ready, we'll lie down. And again, the arms can be wherever it feels okay for you. So maybe your arms are down by your sides. Maybe you have your hands over your abdomen. Maybe you have one hand over your heart, one hand over your abdomen. However it feels good for you. Settle in. And just notice if you feel any different than you did when you started. How does your body feel? Do you feel a little calmer? A little lighter? And again, going back to the breath that we started with. So those really long, deep inhales. Maybe you take a really big, deep inhale and hold it at the top again. Take in just a little bit more. Feel where your breath goes and then exhale really slow. And part of the yoga practice is learning to be okay with the quiet. Maybe even learning to appreciate when your mind is quiet. When you're not distracted by the busy, by the to-dos, by the stuff, by the drama, by the stress. But when you can just be. And the full moons are a really powerful time to practice that and to really let go of whatever's holding you back. So feel free to stay here if you're cozy and you don't want to get up yet. But if you would like to close out your practice with me, then bring the knees together. Come all the way up into a seat. However feels good for you. And bringing my palms to my heart center, the light in me honors the light in all of you. Thank you for taking the time to practice with me. Hopefully you're making the most of the energy around this lunar eclipse, this full moon in Taurus. And hopefully we'll have more of these practices in the coming months. Namaste.